Imagine this. In a single, silent, inexplicable moment, every human on Earth vanishes. Not a struggle, not a warning, just an instantaneous collective absence. The hum of 7.8 billion lives, a constant planetary background noise, ceases. What happens in the seconds, minutes, and millennia that follow? What story does the world tell without us to write it? The first consequences are airborne. Thousands of commercial airliners, their pilots suddenly gone, continue on autopilot for a few precious minutes. But without human hands to manage fuel, navigation, and landing, their journeys are doomed. One by one, they exhaust their fuel, their engines sputtering into silence. They become unguided gliders, descending in long, graceful arcs before crashing into remote oceans, unpopulated plains, and desolate mountainsides, far from the cities they were meant to connect. On the ground, a similar yet slower chaos unfolds. Millions of cars, trucks, and trains, their drivers gone, coast to a stop. Some veer gently into guardrails, others roll silently into intersections, creating a final permanent gridlock. Engines stall. The cacophony of horns, sirens, and rumbling motors fades into an unnerving quiet. A global hush begins to descend, the first layer of silence in a world suddenly emptied of its masters. But our automated world fights on for a little while. In windowless rooms across the globe, the digital heart of our civilization continues to beat. Power grid fluctuations trigger automated safety protocols. Backup generators roar to life, feeding electricity to critical infrastructure like hospitals and data centers. The internet, our vast ghost network, remains online. Servers hum on borrowed time, processing data that no one will ever see, running algorithms for a society that no longer exists. In our homes, the last vestiges of our daily routines play out. Automated sprinklers dutifully water manicured lawns, wasting the last of the municipal water pressure. Robotic vacuums complete their cleaning cycles before returning to charging stations that will soon go dead. And our companions, our pets, wait. They sit by doors, listening for footsteps that will never come, their confusion slowly turning to anxiety as the hours tick by. As the first day turns to night, the illusion of our enduring presence begins to shatter. The automated systems managing our power grids are sophisticated, but they are not infallible. Without human oversight to balance loads and troubleshoot failures, they begin to trip. One by one, substations shut down, entire regions go dark. By the end of the first 24 hours, most of the planet's artificial lights have winked out, plunging our once gleaming cities into a profound and unfamiliar darkness. Within days, the silence and darkness invite new explorers. The timid become bold. On day 3, wildlife, which had been relegated to the fringes of our world, begins to test the edges of our silent spaces. Deer wander onto highways. Coyotes and foxes trot down the middle of suburban streets, their instincts telling them that the primary threat has vanished. The urban environment is no longer a human fortress. It is simply a new, unclaimed territory. As the power grids fail completely, refrigeration ceases. A feast begins for the smallest of creatures. The contents of millions of refrigerators and freezers begin to thaw and spoil. The smell of decay, a scent we worked so hard to control, becomes a powerful beacon, drawing in flies, beetles, and other scavengers. Our meticulously stored provisions become the fuel for a massive, short-lived explosion in the insect and microbial population. This sudden bounty of rotting food creates a paradise for opportunistic species. The rat population, long our shadow companions in cities, surges at first. They gorge on the contents of overflowing dumpsters and ransacked pantries. But this boom is unsustainable. Within a few weeks, the feast is over. As the easily accessible food peaks and then plummets, so too does the rat population, crashing dramatically from starvation and disease. Our control over the very flow of water also ends. Massive hydroelectric dams, deprived of human operators and maintenance, begin to fail. Many are designed with safety protocols, defaulting to open spillways to prevent catastrophic breaches. Rivers, long tamed and constricted, are partially unleashed. But others, clogged with silt and debris, will eventually overflow or, over decades, crumble under the immense pressure, releasing devastating floods downstream. Our homes, once our sanctuaries, quickly become hostile environments. Without climate control, they are at the mercy of the elements. In hot climates, temperatures soar, while in cold regions, pipes freeze and burst, causing extensive water damage. Moisture seeps into walls, feeding rampant mold growth. The carefully curated comfort of our living spaces gives way to the slow, relentless decay of heat, mold, and suffocating silence. The arteries of our civilization begin to clog. The complex systems that refine and distribute fuel go offline. The world's vast reserves of gasoline and diesel sit uselessly in their tanks. Roads, once the domain of the internal combustion engine, are slowly reclaimed. They become corridors not for machines, but for life. Pathways for wandering animals, their feet and hooves treading on the fading white lines. Within months, nature's assault on our concrete world begins in earnest. The smallest cracks become beachheads. Wind-blown seeds find purchase in the seams of sidewalks and highways. Dandelions, then tougher grasses and shrubs, begin to colonize the asphalt. Their roots, seeking water and nutrients, exert a slow but immense pressure, prying open every seam and beginning the long process of turning our infrastructure back into soil. Below the surface, a similar story unfolds. The massive pumps that keep our underground networks dry fall silent. Groundwater, relentless and patient, begins to seep back in. Subway tunnels, the veins of our metropolises, start to flood. Within a year, systems like the New York City subway are completely submerged, their dark tunnels transformed into a network of subterranean rivers, home to blind fish and strange new ecosystems. The fate of our domesticated animals is a story of tragedy and resilience. Many, unable to escape our homes or too specialized to survive, perish. But the hardy and adaptable find a way. Stray dogs form packs, relearning the ways of their wolf ancestors. Feral cats thrive as expert hunters in the urban ruins. Livestock break free from their enclosures, with tough species like cattle and pigs establishing feral populations that will roam the overgrown suburbs for generations. Not all our legacies are so easily reclaimed. Industrial sites and chemical plants, their containment systems failing, begin to leak. A toxic cocktail of chemicals seeps into the ground and waterways, creating localized dead zones. But even this poison is not permanent. Over decades and centuries, resilient microbes evolve to break down these complex pollutants. Natural minerals in the soil slowly bind and neutralize the damage, a planetary immune response to our chemical footprint. After a few decades, our tallest structures begin to show their age. The war against gravity and the elements is a constant one, and we are no longer fighting it. Unmaintained facades of glass and steel shed their panels, which shatter on the streets below. Wind and water, armed with grit and time, relentlessly attack our creations. They bite into steel, causing it to rust and expand, cracking the concrete that encases it. Stone endures longer, but the mortar holding it together slowly crumbles. The soundscape of the city is irrevocably transformed. The mechanical hum is gone, replaced by the whistle of wind through skeletal skyscrapers and the chirping of insects. Birdsong, once drowned out by the roar of traffic, now echoes through the concrete canyons. Foxes and raccoons make their dens in the abandoned husks of server rooms, where Wi-Fi signals once flowed like invisible rivers. Decades on, our most iconic feats of engineering begin to fail. Bridges, especially steel suspension bridges, are highly vulnerable. Their support cables, no longer painted or maintained, corrode. The relentless cycle of freezing and thawing expands cracks in their concrete footings. After a century or two, one of these cables will snap, creating a chain reaction that brings the entire grand span crashing into the water below. As buildings decay, a new kind of forest is born. Water pools on flat roofs, causing them to rot and eventually collapse. Sunlight streams into the building's interior, and soil accumulates from dust and decaying plant matter. Seeds, carried by birds and wind, take root. First shrubs, then saplings, begin to grow inside our former offices and apartments. Over a century, these rooftop gardens become true forests, their roots threaded through concrete floors and rusting rebar. Stone, the material of our most enduring monuments, persists for centuries. But even it is not immune. The sharp edges of our inscriptions and sculptures are softened by wind and acid rain. Lichens and mosses colonize the surfaces, their tiny root-like structures slowly prying apart the mineral grains. Our written history, carved in granite and marble, begins to blur, becoming an unreadable script under a blanket of patient life. After several centuries, the biosphere begins to find a new equilibrium. With fences and highways gone, animal migrations resume on a continental scale. Vast grasslands, once suppressed by agriculture, return. Herds of large grazers, feral cattle, bison, horses, move across the landscape, their grazing patterns shaping the vegetation as powerfully as rivers shape the land, creating a dynamic mosaic of habitats. Beneath the waves, a different kind of colonization occurs. Our sunken ships and collapsed oil rigs become artificial reefs. In waters where climate change has stabilized and cooled, corals and sponges recruit onto our steel ruins. These structures, once symbols of industrial might, become vibrant, complex habitats, teeming with fish and invertebrates, our legacy absorbed into the oceanic web of life. Far above the recovering Earth, our silent sentinels begin their final descent. Thousands of satellites, their electronics fried by radiation and their orbits decaying, fall from the sky. Most are small, burning up completely upon re-entry. But over the centuries, even the largest, like the International Space Station, will succumb to atmospheric drag, streaking across the night sky as silent, brilliant meteors, a final fleeting fireworks display for an audience of no one. What of our most stubborn creations? Paper and natural fabrics decay quickly, turning to mulch within a few years. But our plastics and other synthetic polymers are a different story. They will linger for millennia, breaking down not into soil, but into smaller and smaller fragments. They become a permanent, brittle, and stubborn part of the geological record, a thin, strange layer in the rock strata of the future. After thousands of years, the face of the planet is almost entirely rewritten. Our cities have become forested hills, our highways faint lines in the landscape. Only the most massive of our works remain. The stone bones of our building foundations, the great earthen mounds of our dams and mines, and the unnatural concentration of our plastics and metals in the soil are the last hints that we were ever here. And life, in all its forms, thrives. It has not simply recovered, it has diversified. New species have evolved to fill the niches we vacated and the new ones we created. The world is wild, complex, and interconnected in ways we could only have dreamed. It is a world that is utterly and completely indifferent to our absence. The planet has reset itself. It has not returned to a pre-human past, but has moved forward into a new, unpredictable, and entirely humanless future. Our time here was but a brief, explosive chapter in a much, much longer story. The Earth, in its patient geological time, has simply turned the page. If you find these journeys through time as fascinating as we do, consider subscribing to Timelines for more stories that bend our perception of the past, present, and future. And if you enjoyed this glimpse into a world without us, please like the video. It helps us create more content just like this.